My name is Bloodlust and welcome to Indie Bits, the show where I give my first impressions on new indie games. In Mech Armada, an army of monsters called the Swarm almost drove humanity to extinction, but a scientist developed a new technology that lets him create giant mechs out of thin air. He can't be bothered to control them though, so it's up to you to fight back against the Swarm. But I don't really trust this guy. He even said, "They call me crazy," and that's what all crazy scientists say. You start every run with a couple of default mechs at your disposal, and on every battle the terrain and enemies are randomly generated for you. The gameplay is like most turn-based tactical RPGs. You spend your turn choosing where to move your units and who to attack, and then the enemy spends theirs doing the same. The mechs you're using and the enemies you run into all got different stats, like movement range, health and damage. And you should know that you have a set amount of energy that can be spent to summon more mechs to the fight. But if you run out, you can gather more at certain points in the map. Between battles you earn circuits that can be spent in unlocking new mech parts or upgrading the ones you already got. You can also take this time to customize the mechs on your loadout with a bunch of different parts that change their stats and abilities. You can use your points to create a cohesive army of mechs with different strengths, or do what I did and spend all of them on a single mech to create this abomination that obliterates enemies. One important aspect of the game is that energy gathered and damage taken to your mechs is carried between battles, so eventually you're gonna run out of mechs or energy and lose the run, but not all is lost. Depending on the amount of battles won, you unlock new parts that will be available to acquire later, and during fights you can collect this special energy that's used to unlock permanent upgrades for all future runs. In general, I think Mech Armada is great. Even though it is currently releasing in early access, it runs well and I barely encounter any issues. I really like how responsive the controls are, letting you do a lot of actions in a row without having to wait for the animations. Makes combat fast and engaging. The main issues I have with the game are that random map generation is not super varied or interesting, and there isn't much to the story or characters apart from the introduction. Still, what's already here is pretty promising, so I hope they continue to make it even better before the full release. Because of this, on my should you try it scale, I give the score of worth a shot.